Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 versus Skate 3, two beloved skateboarding games by different skate franchises, the Tony Hawk series and the EA Skate series. Both games packed with endless content and fun, catering to the casual gamer as well as the hardcore skate fan. These games want you to be creative and find your own way of having fun. And both communities are still active to this day because of the park editors. It really is two amazing... Okay guys, let's just get into the video for real. So, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Not a very good game. Just look at these floating grinds here. He is way too far above the rail. But I mean, apparently that's not a rare thing in skateboarding games. We also saw it in Shaun White skateboarding. And yes, I can warn you already that I will be nitpicking a lot because you've already seen 100 videos complain. Oh my god, just look at this nose grind. Even if it was connecting to the ledge, the nose would be further down than the trucks. I don't know what they were thinking. Robomoto really did screw up things big time and actually put the nail in the coffin here. And these sloppy landings, we'll definitely get into those later. But something I actually do think look good in this game is the manuals and nose manuals. But so much other stuff doesn't look good, and that's why I've made a little animation comparison from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 to Skate 3, and we'll be taking a look at that right now. And I'll just have to explain a little bit because a while ago I made a Tony Hawk's Proving Ground versus Skate 3 video. I made that because that was my two favorite games from each franchise, and I wanted to see how the animations kind of compare to each other. It turned into more than that. It turned into like a full versus and how much enjoyment I could get out of each game. But the difference about Proving Ground and Pro Skater 5 is that Proving Ground still holds up to this day, according to me. I mean, we can go out and film tricks and make videos with music and everything. We have the video editor. In Pro Skater 5, I couldn't even turn off the HUD, so the points and trick names are going over the animations here. I was really annoyed by that, but I couldn't really figure out a way to turn it off. And Jesus Christ, the nollie kickflips is horrible, and I also think the nollie heel is pretty terrible looking. The tricks done in Pro Skater 5 at the moment is with 0 ollie stats and 0 speed stats, but he's still going really far and actually jumping higher than the average human being. It's definitely not a game that focuses on realism, but I just wanted to get it as slow as possible so that we could see a fair comparison between the games. Something people complained about in my Proving Ground versus Skate 3 video was that Skate 3 came out a couple years after Proving Ground, but Pro Skater 5 came out a couple years after Skate 3, so what's the excuse here? Even though this backside heel flip wasn't a sloppy landing, the wheels just kind of slide around. I don't think that looks good for a skateboarding game. But what tricks do look good in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5? Maybe the big spins? I mean, a big problem when it comes to realism is the kind of delay on the tricks because you have to ollie first. It's always been like that in the Tony Hawk games, and I wouldn't want to see that changed. Even though if they actually wanted to compare with a realistic skateboarding game in the future, maybe doing something like setting up for a trick, so hitting X and to the side, you would set up for a kickflip and you would actually see the feet kind of get into that right position. That would definitely be a way to get into the realistic genre, but I don't know if it could ever really do that. Tony Hawk, however, did mention in his 9 Club interview that he feels like he's working with the right people at the moment, so hopefully we will get a new game not screwed up by Robomoto. And that nollie frontside flip was so horrible I can't even begin to explain it. Nollie backside flip looked a little better, but still, these are not really pretty tricks. Oh, the nollie backside heel actually wasn't too bad. But still, it's so far below the level of Skate 3. But okay, let's just take a break with the trick comparison here. A thing about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is you can basically land any trick. You don't really have to land it, because if your trick animation isn't completed before you hit the ground, you just instantly skip to the land animation or the sloppy land animation. And look at this! You break your leg on every sloppy landing. At least that's Chris Cole. And the foot plant tricks like no comply or boneless, you don't even touch the ground. You just foot plant off into the air. And when it comes to nollie trick animations, we don't have the double tap tricks. And when I say double tap tricks, I mean double tapping left and then X. That's how you do a double kickflip in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. I wish it was like in the old days where you could double tap X and hit left. That way the trick wouldn't be as delayed as it is now, but I mean, it's not really a big thing. It just feels a little more uncomfortable or awkward. But let's just change the topic and talk a little bit about the difficulty level in these games. Skate 1 and 2 didn't really have a difficulty, but it would probably be normal in Skate 3. Skate 3 having easy, normal and hardcore, kinda trying to cater to every gamer out there. While as Pro Skater 5 is the same difficulty all the way through, but you collect stat points like in the old days. And one thing we have to talk about here is the button mapping. You can see here LB activate special, which is also just working horribly because if you're in a combo and you refill your meter, well, you can't use it one more time. You can only use it one time per combo. But LB is also the nollie button. So when I was filming the nollie tricks for the animation comparison, all of a sudden I was just activating special. We don't have the harder button mapping for these tricks. It's just, you know, do a kickflip and then he'll actually do a triple kickflip. Or do a board slide and he'll do a dark slide. Half the flip tricks you can't even finish on flat ground, but of course he'll just land it anyway. And look at the wall rides. Starts out really good with actually curving into it, but then when you get halfway through, it just stops and then just power slide down the wall. Another thing I want to take a look at is, look here at Chris Cole's pushing. How normal it looks, how maybe he would have been motion captured. And then look at the pushing in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. It's atrocious. Even if I hold down RT, which yes is the pushing button, but when you land in a quarter pipe it's the revert button, it makes no sense because if you want to revert just rolling on flat, you have to hit RB, I think. It makes no sense how they would change that. Another thing I want to talk about is the controls, and in Skate, you know, there's definitely a learning curve. It's probably been the hardest skateboarding game for me to learn how to play, to actually get that laser flip every single try, or tray flip, or whatever trick it might be. Even easier than Session for me, actually. I remember in Session I landed a tray flip the first time I ever even tried it. But still, in Session and Skate, it just makes sense. Tony Hawk is the good old thing, but I don't know if they should try to revolutionize it and change it. I definitely think it works, but in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, the diagonal tricks, so varial flip, hard flip, inward heel and barrel heel, they all feel a little harder. When I had to film the tricks, I really struggled with the diagonal ones. I kept doing kick flips and shove it instead of hard flips and barrel flips. And the levels in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, they're all so uninspiring, so boring to skate. They try so hard to play off the nostalgia, but they're not even beating Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 in my opinion. Just look at this level here, Asteroid Build. The combos and lines you can do here are so boring. It's all just squares. There's no real excitement here. And every level has this weird superpower. In Asteroid Build you have Super Pop. So I guess that's supposed to help you with getting the highest score or whatever. And look at this blue stuff. What is that? Looks horrible. Honestly, I don't have too many nice things to say about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Robomoto really screwed up the game and put that nail in the coffin. One thing I really miss about the combos is we can't do switch up grinds. Or while doing manuals, do the freestyle tricks. And look at that, I would actually have bailed there, but in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, I guess they took the difficulty down a little bit, so you would actually land anything. Back in the day, if you were grinding a quarter pipe and your balance bailed in towards it, you would just drop in, and otherwise you would fail. There's a lot of missed potential for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, because I honestly thought it would be a direct continuation of Pro Skater 4, so we would at least be able to do all of that. But we should probably have figured out from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, which I actually didn't play, that this game would be pretty horrible. Both these games have been the last in the franchise, but the only one of these that still holds up is Skate 3 for sure. I didn't really talk about the park creator, but there is actually one in Pro Skater 5, and I think every single level has like a million downvotes. You can't really get creative with it like you can in Skate 3 and actually create like new worlds. So I think that's all I have to say about these two games. I definitely want to hear what you guys think, but I think I already know the answer. And on that note, I think I'm gonna leave you with a few more trick animation comparisons. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like. Also remember to subscribe and of course hit that bell. And then I'll just see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.